Hello and welcome back. Today is our Sandy Edwards Riot special, ending the 1981 season and going into 1982. As always, I am joined by John. Hello, John. How are you today?
Hi, looking forward to this one.
Yes, so am I. Do you want to start things off?
Well, just as a sort of little prelude to it, did you know that when these two episodes were released on the Best of Box Set, Volume 2, it was the most requested set of episodes?
Do you know what? I did know that, but I know a lot of people probably won't.
It's kicking off a brand new sort of feel to Prisoner because when you look at these two episodes, the main cast are not there.
No, they've all buggered off to do a film or something, haven't they? Or be in a play.
Yeah, but it actually makes the show shine.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, especially like with B in hospital having a kidney transplant, even though she's in it a bit, but you don't really miss her. She's not key to anything, to be fair.
No, no, it's right. It's kind of she could just be gone for a long time, and it wouldn't really make any difference.
Yeah, I think because Kate Peterson and Sandy Edwards, they kind of really kept the show going.
It was a fresh character, and then you had um, it brought out the background characters, but we can discuss that as the
Yeah.
episode sort of plays out. The thing the thing that jars me though, unfortunately, with the beginning of this episode is
Okay.
um, when Jim and Meg have done their little stroll down the corridor, and as they turn that corner, the women are, screaming at them. And before Jim even runs off, the alarm goes off.
Does it? Honestly, I've never
Yeah,
noticed. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's just a bit of bad sort of sound editing there.
It's
But
not like
and then
Tony.
you got and then you got the fire, the Molotov cocktail they've thrown, but that seems to
Yeah.
just disappear. But I do like the riot alarm and
Yeah.
the music, action news
Yeah.
over the mugshots.
Well, why don't we play a little bit of that, shall we?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, that's always a weird track, that one, but it works with it though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is really dramatic, and it's nice to have that music played through it because it keeps you sort of in the moment
Yeah.
as the women are writing, and it's just really good. I tried to imagine this episode with
Hmm.
like B, Lizzie, Doreen, Judy,
It
and
wouldn't
it
work.
wouldn't work.
No.
No, it's kind of annoying when I look, at Elspeth because she's, you know, I suppose it's the shock and the fear, isn't it? Because the last time she was in a riot,
It was when Bill
uh,
got stabbed.
yeah, um, but it's just a really good opening. 6 minutes before the ad break, and it's
Yeah.
a solid 6 minutes of stuff. Oh look, Meg can't make her phone call. Jim has to take over.
No, she's useless.
What is the music they're playing?
I believe it's called Pulsion. Shall we have a listen to it?
Yes, please. and then you got Hazel who sort of whacks the door, and smashes all the glass.
Yeah.
It's it's soft violence, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd call that more, I don't know, threat, because no one actually gets hurt, but she's
No,
holding something that could hurt someone and shows that she would use it. So I'd call that maybe threat. I don't know,
but it's
but
but
yeah,
it's nice as well because you've got Hazel's been seen, Phyllis has been seen when Sandy says to her, "Phyllis, find that bloody alarm and turn it off."
yeah.
So straight away you've got two background characters that are coming into the forefront again.
Which is always a good thing because we like the extras in Prisoner. Do you know what I mean? They yeah. I've always liked the extras.
Yeah, because they do make it. They
Yeah,
do make the show.
and even down to
Um,
like Lorna and Tina. Do you know what I mean? We never really know much about them, but they were there so long. They then feel like part of the main cast.
well, if B did double murder and she got her parole was kind of due,
Yeah,
what the hell did Tina and Lorna do? Because their parole was never due. So
no,
they must have really murdered like like a
they must.
busload of people.
Yeah, they must have been bad.
It was nothing towards children or anything like that
No,
because they don't tolerate that in Wentworth. So
yeah, it wouldn't have been nothing like that.
no, it might have been like Lorna like murdered her entire family or her
Yeah,
husband, and I don't know. It's just really
no,
weird.
I'm going to go for the whole family. Maybe they wouldn't let her watch what she wanted on the telly, so she shot them all.
What I find interesting with this section is you've got Janet and Steve who have they're stuck in the prison because of the riot. So
Yeah,
it's that, what do they do? Where can they go? So it's quite fun that they have to split up because obviously Steve wants to try and make contact. So I quite like the darkness of the scenes in the laundry where they're sort of first chatting and then Janet has to hide behind some clothes by the dryer and Steve kind of goes off to hide, which he ends up hiding in the staff room because there's women kind of in the corridors. There's a nice little bit of music. That's Mercury, isn't it?
it is indeed. Yes. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please. Oh, there they are. They're all in reception with their brooms
Yeah.
and chains. Again, it's because you've had that sort of few minutes of rioting fun, and
Hmm.
then it goes a bit slow because they're trying to work out what to do
Yeah.
next.
There is quite a lot of waffle as well as the action.
I think it would have been nice if they'd given like Lil and Bev some lines in this episode, like
Yeah.
really push the background lot forward. I think that
Nice.
could have been good. They're I do like the scene again, music wise, really good when they're just gonna break out of the loading bay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
I
does work. Was the door of the loading bays going up almost in time with the music?
Yeah, I think we should have a listen to that.
Okay, then let's have a listen to Flashpoints by Andy Clark.
See, the track works really well.
Yeah, it
You
does.
know, it's a good track to
Yeah.
just for something really simple with them throwing the Molotov cocktails and yeah, really good. And also I like seeing Wentworth at night. You know, you can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
it's got, they've got their big floodlights out. And
Yeah.
it's interesting actually, because when you look at the loading bay, it's obviously rained at some point because the loading bay's actually got a lot of water underneath it. I don't
Right.
like the sound of the gunshots when
No.
they all fire. It sounds a bit, crap.
Yeah. And also you can see where they're just got something pushed into them to fire because you can see like white powder coming out of them.
What is that music that's cut with flashpoints?
What is it called? I think it's called Element of Risk. Would you like to hear that as well?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I like the shot with the camera the other side of the loading bay as the loading bay doors close. I like that shot. I think that's quite a nice sort of clever shot.
Yeah, it's just the camera on the floor, isn't it? And you kind of just seeing it
Yeah.
down. Yeah, it works. It's again simple, but yeah, I like that as well.
See now. they got the dramaticness of them all coming back into the reception area after the guns have been fired, and Hazel's obviously damaged her wrist.
Yeah.
Um, the problem is some of the background characters kind of take the emphasis off the scene because they're just so stupid, where they're overacting.
Oh, because they can't speak, so they have to give more gestures.
But I like the way Mari's kind of trying to muscle in with Sandy, with the way Sandy's like, I'm thinking. It's
Yeah.
like, leave me alone, because she's just sort of badgering her.
Yeah,
Which, to be fair, though, Mari is she really wants this riot to be far worse than what it is.
And she probably looks at it. She's had more experience than Sandy, probably in situations like that.
Yeah, Sandy's kind of wants it to be sort of almost peaceful.
Yeah, almost like a protest, but Mari wants full scale.
Yeah, she wants blood, Mari.
Did she
really does. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a shame that this is really her main stint in the program, because she comes back and I don't know, I find her okay when she comes back, but not the best. This is, for me, her best sort
of. This is when she shines.
Yeah.
See, I don't mind when she comes back later on, though. I still think she's good.
Isn't that Bee's husband who plays the policeman in the in the conjugal suite when the police arrive? I think that's Bee's husband.
I think it could be, yeah, because he was in it loads of times. I think he played about.
Yeah.
I think I read 10 different characters, but don't know how true he is.
Well, he's looking pretty good for a bullet in his head.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if I could look that good, then come shoot me. I don't mind.
What I do like, though, is that they use a lot of different people, background artists for the policeman. But then I find that a bit later on, they use a lot of the same people as policemen. So you kind of get that more of a, oh, there's a familiar face. Oh, it's, like they're building up a proper police squad.
Which, again, that works, though, doesn't it? It kind of like you get the coppers in the end.
It's a bit like Grace, bringing Grace, Inspector Rouse. You're getting those familiar faces, Inspector Thorne, and you kind of go, yep. And it's how it would be.
And I do like their coppers that they used.
Do you find the set for the conjugal suite?
A bit like the TARDIS.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's a lot bigger, but it's not a bad set, actually.
No, it does look like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and think for a guest set, so you think you've got all your cells, your laundry, your corridor, your rec room that are permanent sets in Studio B. And then they've got to kind of squeeze into a gap, like, the conjugal suite or Erica's office and reception. They're classed as guests till later on in the series, because reception ends up being, I think, one of the permanent sets.
Oh, does it? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that's handy, because it did double in size, didn't it?
Yeah, you can tell where they've taken the set down because they've left the white line on the floor.
Yeah, you can see the white line in the visiting room or in a different set altogether.
But, that's fast-paced TV for you, though, as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And the thing is, though, again, like we said, Prisoner was only designed to be shown once.
Yeah. 16 episodes. So to be fair, we're now on episode 247. So it's doing something right. And actually, when you look at this season, 1982, I actually think it's probably Prisoner's best season.
Yes, because that's when Joan comes into it as well, when we're building up. But obviously, we'll come to that when we get there.
It's but then you get the slow, the episode slowing down already. It hasn't been on that long, but there's a lot of chat. Janet and Steve are chatting. They don't know what to do. Where do we hide? So they end up hiding in the laundry so he can have a little skulk around because he wants to get to a phone. And then they play. Now that when he goes to search for the phone, I love the fact that they've got the lights off on the sets. You've kind of got that moody blue lighting, and then you've got that fantastic kind of suspenseful but creepy music.
Would that be? Yes, I know the one you mean. I think it's called Forewarning.
That's it. Can we have a listen to that?
Yep, let's have a listen now. Yeah, I have to admit it does work with them shadows, doesn't it, that they made? I
It,
mean, they don't normally do that, so that looks really
no,
cool.
it's really good, and it kind of it just really builds to. It makes you think that when you watch that, it's like Steve is kind of frightened going down the corridors on his own,
Yeah,
but it also makes it feel like he's entirely alone within the prison, even though he isn't.
yeah.
It's yeah, it's spooky, but really quite cool.
And it also kind of gives you the impression that somebody could walk around that corner at any moment and catch him.
Yeah, and he actually, it's the look on his face. He gives a look at times. You need to watch Steve Faulkner in his episodes. It's, just a little raise the eyebrow or the way his eyes sort of go or his mouth.
Hmm.
So he's actually, I think he would have developed into a really good actor.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he did and was, but unfortunately, we just never got to see him in anything else.
That's the thing. And then obviously, he died so young.
Yeah, really young. It's still you're like really surprising when you think about it, you know.
Well, the good thing in a way is he may be gone, but
Hmm.
his sort of legacy will always live on because of us watching Prisoner, the new
Yep.
generation watching Prisoner. Wayne Jarrett will always be alive.
And that's the great thing about television because you are then captured forever. I mean, don't get me wrong, theatre's good, but once the show's over, it's over.
Yeah,
He will always be preserved
yeah. I like the when they're in reception and they realise that Steve's on the phone.
when they're
The switchboard lights up, and
yeah,
that's just a clever little thing. That again, that's down to the writers and actually the cast as well, because the way they act that out, and they're sort of like, the bastard is on the phone,
yeah.
and it's like
Where is he?
they sort of send a squad off to find him, in the staff room, and it's like,
Yeah,
and again, another good bit of music coming up.
yeah, that was Flashpoints again, wasn't it? And then cut to with computer crime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can we ever listen to Computer Crime?
just computer crime. Okay, we'll have a listen. Ah,
See,
that
that's a
it's a
I
classic,
love
isn't
that
it?
track.
Yeah, it's great. It kind of sums up so many other prisoner memories as well.
It does, and it always makes you smile when you hear that bit of music. You
Yeah,
know something's gonna go down.
yeah, that's the thing as well. It might be a library track, but as far as I'm concerned, that is a prisoner track, not a library track, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I found with this episode it was interesting because there's a lot of high camera work. So like
Yeah.
when Steve's hiding in the loft, and you think that's a flimsy set, and they've just
Yeah.
put a roof on it and just chucked an actor up to kind of look down. I'd love to know more about how that's set up. Did they have something else that was rigged up just for that shot? When you sort of see one of the other background cast underneath and he's sort of looks down and you get that sort of worry on his face. Was that filmed on like a special rig?
It could have been like a separate
Yeah.
film together, not very far off the ground at all.
Yeah, you just don't know. It's a bit like, again, jumping just quickly forward when Doreen sets fire to the cell. That sort of, because that looks like that was done on film.
Yeah, it was.
And that, yeah, it just looks. I mean, if Prisoner had been done entirely on film, it would have been utterly
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to have seen that. Imagine certain other episodes, which we won't mention or go into now, but imagine, some of the other classic episodes shot in film. It would have looked amazing.
Well, imagine, we're in the 1982 season, so the cliffhanger for that year would have
Hmm.
been would have been brilliant. But anyway,
Yeah,
I like. I mean, the episode slowed down now because they're obviously sort of, trying to find Mrs. Davidson.
yeah,
Meg's still just sitting there looking like she's biting her nails. And Gerard, no, Jim Fletcher has to explain to the policeman, why Meg's so out of it.
yeah, being
But
absolutely
it's
useless.
but you wouldn't get that in today's television. The slow pace. They don't do slow pace anymore.
No,
It's
not
all
anymore.
very, very fast and
Yeah, well, look at Doctor Who, for instance, 45 minutes, done with.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you know what I mean? So, yeah, the pace is slower, but I like that though, because it does make it seem like you're watching it more in real time rather than TV time.
Yeah, exactly. It's good that the mix of locations because they've obviously gone off and done some filming in a real kitchen somewhere.
Yeah, that could be the Nunna's kitchen though,
Yeah, it could be. It could well be. Which
but it
if
still
it
counts as,
is,
still counts as location filming.
yeah, it's still location filming. If
Yeah,
it is the kitchen at Nunawading, that's kind of good because it gives you an insight to the other bits of the studio.
yeah,
Because
it's like behind the scenes almost.
yeah, because Prisoner was well known to use as much of the studio as possible.
Yeah, but again, great idea. It's on your doorstep. Let's use it.
And you think that was back in the days when the studio was a bustling working studio.
Yeah, it would have been like the hive of activity.
When they went to record League of Gentlemen, the first series, it was too expensive to film at TV Centre. So that's why it got filmed up north. It was cheaper.
Really? Then filming in your own
Yeah.
studios?
Yeah.
Okay, because didn't the BBC as well used to kind of charge themselves, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, for their own equipment?
Yeah. Which
Makes
makes
no
no
sense
sense.
to me. No.
And it could have been something similar with Nana Wadding that it, becomes too expensive to film there. So they film elsewhere. And then eventually no one's filming there bar neighbours. What I find interesting with Prisoner as well is it's one of the only TV shows that really sort of promotes smoking
In a big way.
in a big way. I
They've
mean,
always
most of
got
the
a bag on.
characters, yeah, there's always a character somewhere smoking, and you think
Yeah.
you don't get that nowadays. Oh, this is a nice bit of music. I love this bit of music when Jim comes out of the conjugal suite in the morning. You can see it's rained
Yeah, I know the bit.
just before Mrs. Davidson appears. And what's that track called?
It's called The Force.
Oh, let's have a listen.
Okay. That's from a Bruton album called Undergroove.
Undergroove. See, it's got it's a good vibe about it. And talking about policemen, Inspector Thorne makes his sort of first appearance.
Yes, no, I do like him, even later on when he's like a bit stupid. But yeah, I do. He's one of my faves.
Yeah, it's very good. And Erica's back. We're going to do nothing. We're just going to go into the conjugal suite and drink coffee.
Yeah, and just stand around.
Yeah, and see now Lizzie's back. So now Lizzie had been missing for a few episodes. She was sent off to another block, and then obviously with the riot, she's able to come back. It's interesting as well because you can visibly see that the set
Mm.
has had some kind of knock to it because in reception around the door where after Hazel smashed it, there's a lot of dents in the wall. I reckon during storage at some point, because just because 246 was the end of that season doesn't mean they stopped filming at
No,
246. They
no, they
obviously go
carried on.
on into. You can always tell actually the end of a season and the beginning of a new season because normally they've all had a haircut.
This is true, and sometimes they've written in them having haircuts, and other times it's not mentioned.
Yeah, you can clearly see they've had a bit of a 6 week break and a bit of a tart up.
Yeah, I still love when Bees has her haircut and she says that Doreen done it or helped her anyway, but Doreen was in solitary at that time.
You know why she had a haircut?
No,
Just to annoy him.
really.
Yeah,
Okay, what was she hoping to achieve from that then?
yeah, it was purely just to annoy the producers because I think she'd asked to have a haircut. They said no, and she went and done it anyway. And then, of course, it had to be written in.
Yeah, and,
But it just shows you how your prisoner started. It introduces its characters: B, Lizzie, Doreen,
mhm.
Judy, Vera. Just those five. Lizzie's not. She's in the episode, but she's not really in it. But it shows you how you don't need these characters move the show forward.
No, as long as you got good characters there, that is all that you need.
Yeah.
Like when Bee, Lizzie, and Doreen leave for good, the show continued very well without them.
Yeah, I think the biggest shock, if you sort of think about it, because if you think over those years, no real major prisoners had got. With Doreen exiting the show, it it wasn't a great loss, to be honest.
No, I think she'd run her course by then, to be honest.
Yeah, when B leaves, yeah, that's quite a shock, but you only get sort of half a dozen episodes that are a bit like, oh, we're not sure what to do. Ooh. And then all of a
There's
sudden
a
it
few.
just kicks off. Yeah, it just suddenly kicks off again, and you're like, oh, who's B Smith? You've forgotten her.
Yeah, which to be fair is how it should be.
Yeah. And the same with Lizzie. When she goes, she was done.
To be fair, yeah. There wasn't a lot more they
So
could do with her. And she wanted to go anyway, didn't she? Because of
yeah,
our
so you don't really miss her. So by stepping Judy up, it kind of just keeps that continuity. But once Judy goes and Myra goes, the show doesn't really pick itself up. There's no proper
No.
for a character.
No. The only one you've really got is Lou Kelly. But she can't carry the whole thing by herself.
No, she really can't. Now it's interesting. We've got all these other characters that are being introduced into this new season that we're watching now.
Yeah.
Like background characters. Margot's back.
Yeah.
But it's interesting with B in hospital finding out that there's been a riot by watching the television. No mobile phones in those days.
No,
You
no.
find out the news, it's via TV only.
See, I like the fact that there's no technology. There's no real computers. There's no mobiles. There's nothing like that because I don't know. I think it's better storytelling without them.
Yeah, and I do like the bickering in this episode because you've got Jim bickering, Erica is kind of being got at, Colleen's a bit sort of snappy,
Yeah.
Because Colleen's saying to Jim, why wasn't I informed last night? And he's like, well, it was no point. We're not doing anything. And Erica's looking like she swallowed a wasp. It's kind of how it would be. People are going to be snappy. I think the character portrayal, as they kind of given a bit more beef, like Colleen was going from nobody to
Chief prisoner.
somebody. Yeah, because she was, the odd line here and there, and now she's sort of, really progressed into a full character.
Yeah, which I do love Colleen, by the way. I thought
Yeah.
Judy done a fantastic job. Really good.
Yeah, she certainly brings a different edge to the show.
Yeah, she started off trying to be like Vera, but I think they soon realised, and you just get this completely new character that everyone adores.
Yeah, she mellows very quickly from being that kind because she's quite nasty to Meg really in these
Yeah,
around these episodes and certainly after these episodes. But then they kind of mellow her. I suppose really you can't sustain it, but it's again it's down to the writing. They've got a good team of writers on this.
oh yeah, Prisoner did have very good writers.
Anyway, with the episode as that sort of slow movement.
Yeah.
But I do like, we're sort of probably about halfway through now, and Erica's, saying basically she wants to discuss it with the women,
Yeah.
and Sandy sort of, appears and says, "Let's, give us some time." But Jim's very much, "Come on, let's just storm the building now, get it over and done with."
Yeah. Which she probably
Um,
should.
yeah, kind of, when you sort of watch all the outside stuff, you think there's, policemen all with guns, the gate guards all with guns, and you're thinking,
Yeah.
random person turning up for a delivery, and you got all this going on. Random delivery driver delivering something to the studio.
Oh, right. Got you. You mean on the day itself when they're filming?
Yeah, on the day
Right. Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
And
You wouldn't want to stay around long.
you'd be like, what the hell is going on? But again, great use, studio building,
Yeah.
use
Doing
the back
nothing.
end. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Again, I know you need the scene where they're sort of demanding, things they want, and Margot saying, "We need more shampoo." The right aspect is extremely fast.
There isn't. It's kind of over with, really, isn't it? Pretty quick.
Yeah, before you know it, it's done. They're almost going for like real time.
Yeah, but like I said before, and it works though, doesn't it? That's the thing. It feels like you are there with them, like during that time.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that um, Ian Smith appears in this episode as Ted Douglas. That's
Yes, yeah, he's
basically,
there.
yeah, very much saying we're not, we're going to get the police in, and
Yeah, basically they're not having what they want.
but again, more bickering, which I like,
Yeah,
and then
so they're
obviously B rings in as they're all bickering to kind of go, what's going on, you know.
yeah,
Interesting. It's interesting. All the cans of food. Lizzie and Mouse go to the kitchen
yeah,
to sort of fill up some food, and
yeah. Baked beans and biscuits.
yeah, and what looks like, I'm assuming it's a bag of apples. It could be a bag of onions.
But no, it doesn't look
But
very appetizing, to be fair.
no, but it wouldn't be 5-star, would it? It would
No,
be
whatever you can
grim.
grab.
Yeah, because there's that reference, isn't there, where they is it where they're cooking the sausages and then they say something like, "Bugger, the gas has been turned off,"
Yeah,
which
which
they
again,
would do.
they would do. Yeah, everything will be switched off.
Yeah, cut all communications, anything they could do to spoil it, to kind of get them to just give up.
Yeah, basically rain on their parade.
And Kate's not in the episode a great deal, but she's very much being manipulative in the bits that she is in. Yeah, she's definitely playing games slowly, which, again, they're building on her character, and obviously there's a lot more fun stuff to go.
Yeah, I mean, just in my opinion, I do think she is one of the best actresses in the entire show.
Yeah, she certainly is very believable.
Yeah, when she goes off her nuts. Yeah, I would, if I had been there, I'd have been frightened. Genuinely, I would have just been like, "Yeah, I'm going off to lunch now. Bye."
Now, I just suddenly remembered one of the worst things about this episode.
Would it involve Margot?
It does, because my question is, why does she enter the staff room and look in the bookcase?
I don't know. I mean, I know he's not overweight, but I don't think he's that skinny.
And then obviously, when she does find him, she literally climbs off the chair and the table and falls, but somehow manages to gash her head something.
Yeah. Well, she just steps down and lays on the floor.
Yeah.
And it still jars me to this day why somebody didn't say we need to do that again, or we're filming it in a different way. Why leave it as it is? It just looks so terrible.
Yeah, that's the big disappointment.
Yeah.
To the entire episode, because it is just so lame, because they're all putting up a pretty good performance.
Yeah, can't knock most of it, to be fair.
And then, of course, you got the lovely bit where they realise that Steve is on the phone. Again, the switchboard lighting up. And
the governor's office, isn't he, on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sandy says, go get him, type of thing. And then there's a nice piece of music there.
Yes. Should we have a listen to that?
Let's have a listen.
See, doesn't that music work with that though so well?
It works really well, and it even distracts you from the wobbly wall as they burst into the governor's
I
office
know.
and grab
Isn't
Steve.
that a bad one?
That is a bad wobble.
Yeah.
But then it's the you think they're all in the governor's office, they've all got him, and then she says basically strip him,
Mhm.
and
And why not?
you think, wow, really? But what surprises me the most is what you get to see in the next episode. But the cliffhanger here is you've got Stephen Peril being stripped by the women,
Yep.
and then obviously Ted Douglas saying, kind of, that's it, we're going in, bringing in the riot squad.
Yeah.
It's kind of dramatic, and Erica's looking worried, and it just brings that whole episode to a really good
Yeah.
climax.
Yeah, and it kind of rounds that off nicely, ready for the next part.
Yeah, which
Because you
is
know they're going in. This is it. Not taking it anymore. Perfect.
bloody good episode. Best season opener.
It is. It is a good one. To be fair, it is just that fall by Margot that lets it down.
Which is a shame.
So at the beginning of the episode 248, they're dragging poor Steve down the corridor in his underwear.
It's quite a surprise because it's quite prominent. His penis, shall I say, bouncing around.
It is there. It is there. I mean, you're not gonna lie. You can make things out.
You certainly can't miss it,
No.
And also, it's a brave thing to do, really. 80s underwear is, much to be sort of like frowned
Desired.
at nowadays. But
Yeah, it's not flattering or kind of attractive, is it?
no, and for Wayne to just be like, yeah, hell, I'll do it. Good on him. But of course,
Yeah.
that's what women are going to do in prison. They're going to strip the only bloke that's there, and especially because he's fit as such.
Yeah. Can't blame him. To be honest.
No, they certainly can't rape him. Because that's kind of threatened in a way. Because it's not really going to work, is it?
No, but sometimes it's just good to have a nice look.
Yeah, and Kate's obviously being slightly sort of,
Deviously,
devious again,
yeah.
giving a little glint, but not fully yet.
No.
That's quite. It's interesting that the episode's written by Brian Williams.
Oh, that's Dr. Wiseman, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, Dr. Wiseman. And again, it's great that you've got all these actors that are appearing in the show, but are also writing the show.
It kind of makes it almost like a proper family unit. Do you know what I mean? Everyone kind of knows each other and are in it. It's like, yeah, all in house in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I like the shot looking through the bars of Steve pulling on his clothes, and you can.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
If he hadn't pulled his pants up a bit more, you would have seen more bush.
Okay, I see you've examined this scene then.
Yeah, Steve's bush is a bit like wow, but again,
80s bush.
Good on them for doing it.
Yeah, because I have to admit, being like one of the only men on set, apart from the crew, but yeah, one of the only male actors, that must be quite tough to do when you are surrounded by women.
If you did the flip of it, it could have been Steve could have got out of the prison, and it could have been Jim Fletcher.
No, we'll stay with Steve.
It's not going to have the same appeal, is it?
No, even though my nan would love it to be Jim.
That's a completely different story.
Yeah,
but again, once they've stripped Steve, obviously they chuck the uniform out of the window. Erica seems to be having a real bad batch of episodes. Everyone's going at her. She's got the police, she's got Ted Douglas, she's got Jim, she's got Colleen.
Yeah,
it's
everyone.
She's really, sort of getting it from all sides. Patsy does have this good expression on her face of looking concerned.
Yeah.
And Colleen has this great, she does it several times, she kind of gives off like a pissed off look, kind of a told ya sort of look. One of my favourite characters.
Oh, no, she's on my list as well, to be fair. She is up there.
It's bizarre, because when you talk about favourite characters, most people would probably go, oh, it's Bea, oh, it's Lizzie, oh, it's Mara, or it's Rita. But for me, my the favourite characters are actually the officers. When you sort of look at all the, the props that are laying around, there's the urn, there's the coffee cups, beds, blankets, pillows, sheets. Yeah. You just think that's all gone into landfill.
Possibly. I know Neighbours use quite a lot of stuff, so it could still be lurking around.
I suppose it'd be interesting to know what was in Nunawading in the storage bays.
Yeah, I just love to be able to just go in there for a day and have a rummage.
Yeah, because even though it's Neighbours props, there could still be old stuff laying around.
Yeah, I mean that place is so big. I doubt that they gave it a spring clean. and chucked
Yeah, I
stuff
think
away. I reckon a lot of stuff is still sitting there, but it's probably mixed up with the neighbour stuff, and you would have to know your stuff to know what was neighbours and what was Priz.
yeah. I always find the hospital sets, they always manage to get a private room. And you sort of
Yeah.
think, would they back then?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, they certainly wouldn't now. You'd just be handcuffed to your bed and in a normal ward, probably.
Yeah, because that's actually quite interesting, isn't it? Is none of them, whenever they go to hospital or and they stay in hospital, they're never handcuffed
No,
to the bed.
no. But then
You
again,
know,
we wouldn't be able to have the escapes from hospital that we've had.
I
But
do
by
like that little shot on the telly with the news van outside the gates of Wentworth.
but no, it is a nice little touch because you could have just heard audio. You didn't have to necessarily see it.
Yeah, they didn't
That's
have to
good that
film
they
these
showed
little
it.
things. Yeah, I think that's kind of nice that they do that. Val, acting wise, she can give pain when she's in pain.
Yeah,
She gives that across on her face really well.
yeah.
Again, I think unfortunately, I think having a main character that's taking a big percentage of plot lines, I
Hmm.
think with B, I think she needed that sort of rest every now and then. I think if they had rested her a bit more, I know they get solitary or they escape or whatever. I think if she needed something, it may have kept her fresh and maybe possibly stayed in the series longer. It's interesting seeing Kate Shield, Janet Conway,
Yeah.
because she's one of those characters that you either love her or you hate her.
See, I don't mind her, to be honest. I thought she'd done a very good job as well, but it's just her attitude now that puts me off.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's turned her back on the show, and
Yeah.
isn't it? They're seeing Wayne Jarrett, I think, would absolutely adore his fans.
Yes. I think he would
I
happily
think,
have gone to do's and conventions and parties and been all part of it, even up to now.
yeah, I think he's one of those guys that's down to earth. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have worried him. Oh, look, the old red-fashioned telephones
I
with the
know.
dial that you used to bloody get to the last digit and miss dial and be like, shit, I have to put the phone
Yeah,
down and
do it all
start again.
again. Yeah. I vaguely remember them. But they took
Yeah.
ages. If you was trying to ring somebody in a hurry, you have to wait for it to go all the way back round every time. You were there for ages.
But it's interesting as well with Prisoner is you're capturing. Well, I mean, it's like all television actually. You're capturing the past. So their hospital set is probably designed on an 80s hospital.
Which, to be fair, that set looks cleaner than a lot of our actual hospitals.
Well, yeah. But you think that hospitals now will have had all redos, upgrades,
Yeah,
so
they
they
kind of
don't
look
look
a bit
like that
space.
anymore. So you're
No, they look a bit space aged now.
Yeah, I do like their panning shots. They've started
Mhm.
on that megaphone with Erica and gone right
Yeah,
the way around her and are
yeah,
panning back, and that's like it's a clever shot. They
yeah,
could
and
have
it's
just,
very smooth as well.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
you can
really
just see
jerky.
the control tower.
Yeah, but we love Broadcast Tower.
We
We
do.
love seeing that. I mean, they tried to hide it at first, and then they gave up. But I like seeing it.
Yeah, it's fun. Now, Erica's. This is the bit for the episode that's very long and boring.
Yeah,
And that's Erica on the phone to B. When Kate comes out to talk to B, it's they play the whole phone call out with B sort of saying, this is what you should be doing. It's quite a long scene between the pair of them,
hmm,
and then Kate sort of suddenly I've got to go, and it's like, well, there's no one standing around you to sort of say you've got to go, but it's almost like she's kind of half listening but sort of not interested at the same time.
yeah. I think she's got her own plans in her mind as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, she's got. We seem to be kind of agreeing to some element, and then
Hmm.
not with the rest. It sort of dropped the pace a little, but it's
Yeah,
good.
it does.
After the sort of the pace drop, it's good to go into reception, and obviously Mrs. Powell's in there, and they're sort of taunting her a bit, and Margot wants to rough her up. Colin's just kind of like, get off. Margot's threatening her with a ruler.
Yeah, well, that's Margot for you, isn't it? She wait till she gets the pencils out.
She was never the best character.
No, and as much as I love Jane Clifton, she's not the best actress either.
No, if anything, actually, what they needed to have done with Margot is keep her as she was. When Margot sort of is first around the pantomime and sort of after the pantomime, she's nice, a little bit of a streak on her, but, a nice kind of character. And you go, oh, Margot.
Yeah,
But
she's more
then
cocky, I suppose.
she turns into how I've got it, like Phyllis, where you don't mind
Yeah.
them, and then they just turn horrible. And you're like, actually, I don't like you at all. Oh, you got that stupid officer that turns up to. He's got a warrant for Lizzie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do love that scene.
I like the fact that Mari's knows things ain't going fully to plan, but is starting to slowly devise her
Her own.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
she's got
it,
her own agenda.
also, the same as Kate though. So they kind of both.
They've got their own agendas, their own way out to wriggle out of it as best as they can, and let Sandy take the flak.
We do have a good idea what Mari's plan is. She's hoping to nick off, isn't she?
Yeah, I,
She
I
spots
love
that
the fact
uniform.
they're all in the governor's office, all drinking sherry. I
Yeah,
just
I
find
would
that,
be.
but they're drinking it out of the glasses as well. It's like that fight. I just find that quite amusing. They're all like, "Oh no, we must have a sherry in a glass."
No, I'd be drinking that straight out of the decanter. Anybody
You
want some?
would,
Go find your own.
yeah, or out of a mug. It's the fact that they've got the sherry, so Erica's like, I'm having a hard day, I'm gonna have a sherry.
Yeah,
Then that means she would be permanently pissed
maybe she was.
with a hairdo like that, quite possibly. But then saying that, she's lost the hairdo, hasn't she? She's lost the bouffant. She's now gone into sort of hair down.
Well, in that win, she's got no choice.
I don't like the scene where Kate opens the door that says strictly no admittance, and you got that bright light on her.
Yeah, and
And
and the sign just looks really sort of stuck on.
yeah, and it cuts to Janet sort of going, "Oh no, I've been seen," and kind of going up. I mean, what has she got on that plate? It looks like dog poop on a plate.
It doesn't look appetizing. It really doesn't. I
No,
mean, I would rather go hungry than
yeah.
even try and eat that.
We digress. So they're planning their Jim is chatting with Inspector Thorne about,
Yeah.
retaking the prison and their plan.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, it kind of you start to realize now as an audience that something is building. I find
And
it
then,
bizarre how, Sandy stumbles across Janet's, prisoner file, and you're
yeah,
thinking,
out of all of
but
them, she could have found.
yeah, and to be fair, it would have been archived by now.
Yeah, that shouldn't. That would have been at the department.
Yeah, because she's no longer an inmate, so why
No.
keep the file? Lizzie with her knickers get there
Yeah.
preparing for that scene, and you think
Yeah, I love that.
she's so worried that she's gonna, they're gonna shoot at her. Poor Lizzie. It's one of the unfortunately this episode for me. I mean, I like the two episodes,
Yeah,
but
same.
this episode for me is the type of episode that you could have it on in the background,
Yeah, you
tinker.
could be
You could
doing your
walk out the
washing
room
up
and
too.
do something, yeah, and come
Yeah.
back and you haven't really missed anything.
No, because there's not really been a lot that's happened. All we really know is that they're going to take the prison back and they found Janet's file.
Yeah, Jim's now got into his kind of like Marvel outfit.
Yes, the milk tray man.
Na 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 na.
Yeah, it
But
is the
that's what
milk
he
tray
looks
man.
like.
It
It
does.
is. You can see the rain. You can see it
Oh,
pouring.
can you?
Yeah, on the left-hand side, Inspector Thorne, you can really see where they've got the light. It's pouring down in the long shot. That was an interesting shot with Janet hiding in the locker, but the camera
Yeah,
being inside.
yeah, it works. It's quite arty, especially
Oh,
is
here
yeah,
she is,
yeah,
Lizzie and her knickers.
yeah. And what knickers they are? They look more like a pair of running shorts.
I just think that's so sweet. But I like the fact
Yeah,
that the police are standing there and they're not even looking at her. They don't. They're just
no,
looking forward.
yeah. They're not even remotely bothered.
I do like the scene with when the policeman basically is going to take Lizzie to court and she's arguing with him. Listen, Sonny, great dialogue, from Sheila. She plays the
Yeah,
part of Lizzie so fantastic.
yeah. I mean, she also was one of the best actresses as well.
Yeah, isn't Sheila Florence playing Lizzie? It's just Lizzie.
So they found Janet hiding in the locker there. Yeah, I've always wondered if they so they must have taken the back off the locker and maybe a bit of the wall.
She's looking a bit dishevelled now.
She isn't looking the best.
They're now pissed off because, as far as they're concerned, Lizzie's been dragged off, not really knowing the reasons. But yeah, you kind of know again that, the shit's going to hit the fan. There's some good camera work.
Yeah,
in
and then it looks
the two episodes, especially there's some stuff with Jim coming up soon with the camera sort of running with him.
And again, that would have been hard to do back then because of all the cables and everything like that.
Yeah, so the cameras at the time were huge.
They really were.
So doing those sort of movement shots, with all the cables would have been really difficult. But again, director choosing that option. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you get your different batch of directors, and they all want to try something different for the
Yeah,
program.
and you can tell because one episode we have loads of high shots and tracking shots, and the other one's just your basic studio cameras.
See Janet Conway on the standing on the right. See, they're not roughing her up enough.
Oh no, I was.
It's too tame.
Yeah, I mean, if that was real and you had your chance and you had a screw there, wouldn't you be giving her a few jabs to the ribs or
Yeah,
something?
you'd properly
Yeah,
really go for it, wouldn't you?
yeah.
It's now, isn't there music over Jim going up the building?
Yes, there is. Should we listen to both of them? Should we listen to Time Base and Voyager 1?
Let's have a listen.
All right then.
Yeah, it's sort of dramatic, but not dramatic.
Yeah, it definitely works.
Because this episode has been very musicless. It all seems to be happening in the last sort of 7 minutes of the episode. There's a lot of music.
Yeah, but when you actually do look at all of the music cues in the two episodes, there actually is a lot of music used.
Yeah, I mean, there's what, over 15 tracks,
Yeah,
I would say. You know,
yeah.
but there might even be a few more than that. But
I mean, I should
yeah,
have
so, I
counted really.
suppose because nothing dramatic has really
No, there's
happened.
no need for it.
You know, this is sort of the most dramatic part, or you know, with them kind of, you know,
Yeah,
Jim having to get into the building, and that's nice stuff as well. You know, where they've got him up on the roof when he runs across the roof to the door that's
yeah.
up there, and he goes into the one of the many boiler rooms, and
Oh, yeah,
then it's a nice little bit of music that as Lil gets punched by the gun from Jim.
yeah. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please. See, that really works. That little bit of music's really good. I like that a lot.
No, it works for it, doesn't it? I mean, that tune gets used quite a lot, so I'm sure we'll hear that again. But yeah, no, it is a good little track.
It's like a Sean Connery Bond film,
It's not far off, is it? To be fair.
and it just gives it that little bit. It takes it away from being a soap,
And it also
but then
kind of shows that Jim will do what he has to do. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
He won't be messed with.
but it's so this episode is now ramping up for
Yeah,
its
you know it's
closure.
yeah. If you were watching it for the first time, you know it would be getting to the climax soon.
It's not so much violent, but it's quite harrowing watching the women dragging Janet into
Yeah,
that cell. They really don't care about her.
no,
You know, I mean, he's not a horrible officer, but they really don't care, about her at all. They're just in it, for as much as they can get, and that's quite a awkward scene in a way.
yeah. I suppose they don't care either. You know what I mean? They probably know they're going to get the book thrown at them.
They've got nothing to lose, have they?
No, no, not at all.
It's nice here. I do like the kind of Jim the superhero.
Little
When
Jim.
he's coming to the rescue. We've seen him scale the building and
Yeah,
knock Leo out, and now he's coming for his girlfriend. It's nice that in the brief, it's quite a quick scene that Jim has to kind of quickly tell her that the police are going to, storm the building, and she needs to go to the top floor and hide, and then they'll come and find her. When
yeah.
Jim comes into the cell to unlock it, to get Janet out, the
Hmm.
camera goes too high and you completely see
You
above the set.
yes, you can. Yeah, and I have to admit, in the past, I have lightened that scene up so I can see it.
Yeah, oh, look at the size of that
I
walkie-talkie.
know, right?
Bloody hell. That is amazing, the size of that. That
Yeah,
is
you could use that
crazy.
for a chopping board.
Yeah.
That is huge. Now, this scene always made me sad. when Mari Winter's looking out the window at just how rough that set looks.
Yeah, the brick wall on the outside, you can see the nails.
Yeah, it doesn't look the
And
best.
now you got the dramatic kind of end when
Yeah, we
they
have the
suddenly. Oh,
yeah
there you go. They know he's in the building.
yeah. And shall we play World Beater?
Yes, please.
See, the
So
music works so well.
that is, yeah. And now they got this. This is brilliant. I love this bit with
The smashing
the tear
windows.
gas and the smashing windows
Yeah,
and bizarrely the riot lights going still. You can actually catch that a
yeah,
white
it
light
does
spinning
actually.
around. Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know why that's it, but that you mean gas masks? That's really cool.
Yeah, that's. I'm not a fan of that last scene. You know that because I don't do gas masks.
Yeah, it's a powerful ending to two
Yeah,
really good episodes.
yeah, and especially like the gas mask through the smoke that stays with me.
It haunts you.
It does, 'cause like I said, I don't do gas masks. But no, the two episodes there, they are really good episodes. Yeah, it's a bit slow at times.
It's a nice ending to because they've kind of you've had the lull of the episode, then they've built you up,
And
and they've
then
kind of
whammo.
left you wanting more.
Yeah, which obviously, luckily, with the DVDs, not perfect, but at least we can watch the next one now. Because
Yeah, because
before the DVDs, you only had these two episodes.
yeah, that's right. Interestingly, that Ian Smith was a script editor on this episode.
Well, he did do a lot for the show. I mean, we always used to call him Mr. Prisoner.
Yeah, I think without Ian Smith, I don't think you'd have Prisoner.
Not as we know it, anyway.
No, he's. I think he kept it in check to a degree.
No, do you know what? I completely agree with you there. He did do a wonderful job. But unfortunately, the episodes are finished now. So, shall we come back very soon for the next year of Prisoner?
See you soon.
All right, then, bye.
Bye bye.